walk through 3 other examples of how to create an ERD. So in the first question, we are asked to determine the relationship between song and songwriter. So let's find our entity and put it down, and let's call this song. And then let's create another entity, and we'll call it songwriter. Let's see, a song can be written by one songwriter, okay? And a songwriter can write multiple songs. And in order to be a songwriter, they need to write at least one song. So once again, we're going to convert this to a straight line arrow. We're going to move it over. So a songwriter writes one-to-many songs, and a song is written by one songwriter. Alright, now we're asked to identify the relationship between car and owner. Okay, so let's just copy from above and move that down below. So our 2 entities are car and owner. Okay, let's delete the relationship. A car can have one-to-many owners, and an owner has to be an owner of at least one car, but they can own many cars. So in this case, we are looking for a many-to-many relationship right here. Mandatory many to mandatory many. So I'm going to draw this between these 2 entities, and we'll name the relationship. Owner, a car is owned by one-to-many owners, and an owner owns one-to-many cars. Now the problem with this is that since this is a many-to-many relationship, we need to add an associative entity. So let's take this one step further, and I'm going to paste this over here. Let's give us a little bit more room for the associative entity. Oops. We're going to drag this over. Now if I grab the associative entity, which is the curved one, and I just place it right in the middle here, it's going to, it didn't do anything this time, but what I can do is I can take my relationship here and place it there. I'm going to take this relationship and I'm going to connect the associative entity. So we are going to call this associative entity, we're going to call it ownership. Let's make sure this is connected. We have to make sure it's the green arrow for it to be connected. Alright, so a car, let's name the relationship, is owned by ownership, and an owner owns a certain ownership. Now we got to change the cardinality of these relationships to be a mandatory 1 when we create an associative entity. So let's do that and change this one to a mandatory 1 at the beginning arrow. Once again, you can do this by just adding a different relationship, but I decided to do it by just changing the relationships I know I wanted to change. Alright, for our final example, we are going to look at the relationship between order and products. Okay, so let's copy from above. And so we have order and products. Okay, an order can include many products, includes one-to-many products, but must have at least one product. And a product can be on multiple orders or no orders at all. So let's change this to 0. We want to change the start arrow to 0 to many. And the reason why we're doing this is because a product can be on 0 to many orders. Once again, we have the many-to-many relationship here, so we're going to have to create an associative entity. So I'm going to just copy the one from above so it makes it easier. Okay, and I'm going to name this order, and I'm going to name this product, and I'm going to name this order line, meaning each line on an order has an associated product with it. The order between the order line relationship is okay, other than the name, because if we look at order to product, an order has one-to-many products, so an order has one-to-many order lines. Okay, the product to order line is not correct because product can be on zero-to-many orders, and we have it right here on zero-to-many order lines. So I'm going to change this, instead of a one-to-many, I'm going to change it to a zero-to-many on the star arrow. So a product is included on an order line. So essentially that's how we would model the entities. Now it asks me to list out the attributes, so I'm just going to highlight all three of these, click the text tab, and I want it to be at the text to be at the top. Okay. Now I have room to add my entities, so I'm just going to go into the entity, hit enter, and start typing my attributes. On the order, we have the order date, who it's sold by, and the total amount. It's also a good idea to include the primary key or the identifier. So order ID, and then we have the order date, and then we have sold by, and then we have the total amount. Okay, and then on the product, we have the product ID, because we want a unique identifier, and then we want the following other attributes: UPC, product name, manufacturer, model, price, units in stock. Okay, and actually UPC is unique enough that could be our identifier, so we're going to just use UPC as the identifier. We're going to grow this so that it holds all the attributes. Alright, as far as the order line, we could include quantity sold, etc., and other attributes related to the relationship.